Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of this Let's Play City Skylines series. Today I want to have a special video for you guys, and it's not going to focus on the city at all. That will be in the next episode, but on this episode I thought we could focus a little bit more on the beautification of waterfalls and rivers, just making it seem more natural. For us console people, we don't have the same options that PC people do. I know on PC there's mods over here that you can make the water look a little bit more foamy and more realistic, and I mean looks great already, nothing to complain about really for us console people, so I'm not gonna complain. So in terms of waterfalls, to make them more realistic, I did push the freshwater outlets back a little bit more so that they're not visible from the bottom of the waterfall. So if you're standing over here, for example, you can't really see that at all. So I pushed them a little bit further back, and over here you can create like a little bit of a pooling area where in real life that might be possible too. That might happen where the water just stows up a little bit there and then just goes down heavily over there. And what would happen in real life too is the water with its force would go all the way down and just really dig a hole into the ground over there by force until it finally settles down, and then it would keep on flowing. So you can add that if you're really into the realism. As you can see, we don't really have 100% realism over here as the water is just floating along the side over there. So I'm going to be trying to fix that. You could also try to fix that with rocks, but I'm gonna go over what rocks do to water in console in a second over here, or just in this game in general. Over here I believe we have a water, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So what you could mainly do is take these freshwater outlets and hide them in the back, and then just hide them away with trees. And if you've been following this Let's Play series, you might have noticed that I did add another river over here, so this is new. I did that in between episodes, and I just wanted to have something that surrounds the downtown area, a little bit more of an interest. So this downtown area is kind of in an island now, and really to make rivers look more realistic on console, the best you can really do is try your very best to follow natural shapes, of course. Don't just go in straight paths, but have it twist and wind left and right, and that way your city will take a more natural shape too, as you will follow the river with your roads. So instead of just having a road go straight across over here, you could of course then grab a road and have it follow the river a little bit more, and that way it already adds something else. It's a little bit of an eye candy, you know. You gotta be a little bit careful over here with sometimes these water things. The water banks don't really hold the water, and as you can see we got a little bit of a flooding issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise this up a little bit to keep the water in here. I'm not really sure what happened there. Anyways, this should be alright. Then, of course, depending on the type of river that you want, there's a little bit of a flood going on over here, a little bit of a tsunami. Oh well, it'll fix itself, I hope, in a bit here. Anyways, so depending on the type of river, of course, you can add little rocks on the sides that help as well. And this game actually does a great job with the textures that water helps. So the more water floats around, the more the textures change. So if you would be doing this on an island, actually on a tropical map, the water would slowly turn to sand and you can have beaches everywhere. So over here I did try and level the terrain a little bit more to encourage a little bit of a beach from occurring. So in the future this will be turned into a beach area. And then where you have little areas like that on the coast, if you wanted to, depending on the type of beach that you want, over here I thought we'd have a little bit more rocky area, and as well over there, as this is not as habitable land. So not many people are going to move here and live here. So we'll just leave a couple of rocks over there instead. But over here, I thought we could have a nice little beach. So what I did was I just went ahead and grabbed the leveling terrain tool. Make this big, not as rough. And oh no, I grabbed the softening tool, my bad. So you soften it, you hold the X button or the square button if you're on a PlayStation, and you just go ahead and you'll level it down. What you can also do, if you wanted to, I'm not going to do this, but you can also put it over here, and then you can level it as well. Depending on which area you want to, you can increase that or decrease the size of the beach. I know on PC they have actually beach props, so you can have kayaks and stuff just standing there as props, but sadly we do not have the options for that, and there is a little bit of a flooding going on. Well, the water disappeared already. Oh no, it's actually heading straight for the disaster response unit, so that's great, but we'll be alright. I did save the game earlier, so that's not going to be a major issue over here. So going back to the rivers and the waterfalls. Waterfalls, you can of course Google pictures online and just check it out how waterfalls look. I always like to have a little bit of rocky patches up there so that it looks a little bit like a cliff, and you can place these pretty much anywhere that you want to, even over here. But if you put them on here, you can tell that it looks kind of awkward. It's like, I don't know, you could get away with it if you really wanted to. Me, on my personal opinion, I don't really like it that much. So I just like to have rocks on the even areas and maybe smaller rocks on the uneven areas, because how would these huge boulders be able to stand over on a slope that is that steep? Of course it's possible, but just my preference is I like to have a couple of different rocks up there, and then I just add a couple of smaller rocks here and there, just like that. Same thing goes for the lower levels, a couple of rocks on the sides. That do wonders really on how the whole picture looks from afar. Don't go overboard with it if you want to keep the realism. And then these little rocks that look like water has been running on them and they've been shaved off in the past are really good for the shores. So I actually put them over here on the shore, and you can intertwine them. Just be careful. If you put them, for example, over here, they'll look great, but what you're gonna see happen is the water gets really confused and thinks that it can't pass through there, and all of a sudden you have some big bulge up there. So I'm going to get rid of this, have the water go back to its natural flow, and that'll do it, the trick again. And then over here again, just for natural purposes, you could assume that, I got a little bit of a flood wave now, you can assume that the water just carried these rocks over here and they just deposited over time. So you can really do it in any way that you want to. You can put rocks wherever you want to. And then trees, of course, they help with waterfalls and so on. Over here again, same thing. I have these little shaven off rock formations, and you can plop these there. Just like I said, be careful as it does change the water and the way it runs. So yeah, I hope this helped you. If you are looking to create more rivers and are interested in creating a little bit more of a different map for you to play on for once. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And for those of you that have been following this Let's Play series, our next episode, we are going to get started on the transportation hub in this city, because we do need to get to work on that because our streets are getting crowded. Alright, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.